Hi, this is Airflow. Today I'm so happy. Right now I'm sitting in a World War II plane. Last year I made a video about this plane called the Bazookas on the cab. There is a lovely picture on the plane. It's a mom with a little daughter. And today I actually met a little girl. She's now 82 years old. I brought her here. It's her first time to see her dad's plane.
Yes, there's a picture of me and my mom that is in the plane, and to see the actual plane and to know all that happened after the war with my mom and dad. My dad came home from the war very ill and was told he had a year to live, but he lived for 25 years, and I grew up with a wonderful father. He was a high school history teacher, a beloved teacher, and I grew up with a wonderful dad. So it's an interesting story with a happy ending, because my mom and dad had a wonderful marriage, and I had a wonderful mom and dad. My daughter,
front of Rosie.
My daughter did the nose art. My daughter painted the nose art. So she's a graphic designer. Wow. And then to come and see her fly
It's beautiful.
is amazing.
Such a wonderful restoration.
Okay, yeah, that's me, my mom. Yeah. Kind of cute then.
80 years ago.
82 years ago. Yeah, that's Colin had that. He said every pilot always put his wife and child up there, so there I am. I'm amazed. General Wood rode in the back.
Oh yeah.
And my dad, and they would fly over and see where the Germans were. And so can you imagine, General Wood was 220 pounds, my dad was about 180. So together, and the plane is about 700 pounds, I think.
Right, yeah.
So you had
Overloaded.
all that weight.
65, the horsepower is only 65.
Right, so you can imagine how unstable it was. And then you add the bazookas. So.
And then this is what he put on.
Yeah, Bazooka.
And he had them wired up to switches on his panel, overhead panel, and he would fire them with an electric switch.
I couldn't believe how, and then I was going through letters, and I read in one of the letters to my mom that my dad said that I was lucky today. I only knocked over a church steeple and took some fire from the Germans, but I made it back. And meanwhile, Colin, who was restoring the plane, finds the bullet holes in the frame so I think they're marked
I think
here.
they're marked.
But it's on the wing.
Yeah, one of the ailerons has a bullet hole.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the same, but there's two bullet holes that,
There was a repair done.
one was done in the frame, I think. It was,
The strut right here was repaired.
okay.
They left,
But no, they marked, I thought,
there was a bullet hole on an aileron.
Yeah, this one.
yeah, that's one of the bullets. And Colin calculated that one of the bullets missed my dad's head by about a fraction of an inch. So I thought there was one in the body too, or somewhere here.
Yeah, I thought there was one down in here
Yeah.
somewhere.
That was marked, huh? No. Yeah, you see it?
I want to see you look at
Oh,
Oh, that's adorable.
this has been an amazing story. I wrote an article about my dad. Some people online were questioning whether it was possible for my dad to put on bazookas and knock out German tanks. So I wrote an article, and after the article was published, Joe Shields was able to find the plane and brought it back to the United States, where it was restored by Colin Powers, a year long, and the Collins Foundation supported it, and Rob Collins made it all possible. So we're here today to actually see the plane for the first time in flight. It's extremely emotional for me to see the plane and bring my husband and our friends, and we're all here for this reenactment today. When I started to do some research about my dad in the war, I went through all the letters that my dad had written during the war to my mother. Hundreds of letters. She saved all the clippings. My dad was kind of the dashing Bazooka Charlie on the front of sweeping across France with General Wood and the 4th Armored. And so my mother had saved all the letters. And from that, Jim Busha with the EAA in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, said, "May I write a book using all the letters?" So about a year and a half ago, a book called The Unbelievable Story of Bazooka Charlie and Rosie the Rocketer. I was sort of the guide on the side, and he wrote this book that is now doing very well. It's selling a lot of copies, and so it's been I'm 82, and all of this is finding out about my parents during World War II, and it's been a very emotional journey in the last few years with a book and possibly even a movie at some point in the future. So in my small hometown, I'm giving presentations, and so it's been an amazing journey as I learn more about my mom and my dad during the war.
He recovered from the war. During the war, he landed one time on an area that had artillery fire, and from the pocket of a dead German soldier, he pulled out his wallet, and there was a picture of his wife and daughter, just like he had in his plane. He put the billfold back. He just could not take it. And I think it was a very emotional and disturbing time for Major Carpenter, who, it affected him drastically, but he came home. I didn't think he could come home, but he did, and recovered, and was a wonderful father and teacher.
I know. It feels like it's metal. It doesn't. You wouldn't know that this is cloth. And I think about the plane is so much smaller when I think of what this plane accomplished during the war, knocking out tanks from above. And the plane would fly over. Wow. Look how any bullet would think of the damage.
Yeah, that's just cloth.
I know. And this is the guide. This is all my dad had to guide him.
Simple
Jeez.
Instruments. Very simple.
Right. So where would he fire? This is up here, then he'd reach up?
Those 6 switches, 3 on each side.
Yeah.
R and left.
So he had control, yeah. He had to get 300 feet low in order to fire and be effective. I think the journey.
And he could land
in
a little tiny airstrip, about less than the length of a football field. He could land, turn around, take off.
I mean, just to think this is the plane my dad was in.
Yeah.
I never dreamed we would ever find it.
For a year and a half.
Yeah. To think that we actually are seeing the actual plane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, some other pilots did that too, but apparently they didn't do it for very long. They didn't. I don't know how they did it, but
it made the plane so unstable.
So, her dad did it and kept it on there for a while.
when people were saying it just couldn't be possible to shoot bazookas and knock out German tanks. But that's what he did. Yeah. So, I mean, and to think that a general who conducted the war across France, he sat in the back often with my dad flying this plane. He was my dad's personal pilot. Look at the beautiful restoration. Now there's bullet holes too.
There were several bullet holes.
Yes,
Yes, there's several.
I'll have to ask.
And I think it hit the frame down in here.
And probably had to be
And
replaced.
when Colin restored the plane and took all the fabric off, he found...
In the support struts. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was one in the wooden strut, right? There was
think
one in
so.
a wooden
I think
piece,
so,
which
yeah.
is in the wing.
Yeah. So, well, it's a thrill to see, and I never dreamed. It's just something I never thought that my mom and I would often wonder, I wonder what happened to my dad's plane, and to think that I'm here today seeing it. It's quite a moment.
Welcome to American Heritage Museum to see this plane.